So a website named addictinginfo.org posted an article back on October 27th of 2013. And the name of the article was Paid Commenters Hired by Fox News to Spread Right-Wing Talking Points Across the Internet. And they had a picture of a billboard which read, Fox News Channel, we deceive, you believe. Now, I want to read this article to you because I think it's important to preface what I'm about to say. So the article says, in his new book, Murdoch's World, David Folkenflik reveals Fox News' practice of using paid commenters with fake social media accounts to deceive the online community. Folkenflik says members of Fox's online PR staff created between 20 and 100 fake profiles on social media accounts each. The accounts are used by PR staff in order to push the station's extreme right-wing agenda. Once again, they created between 20 and 100 fake profiles on social media accounts each. Does this really come as a surprise? As a freelance writer, I have encountered hundreds of help wanted postings for fake right-wing bloggers, paid commenters, and bogus survey takers. Most of the positions pay between 5 and 10 cents a post. The quote paid commenters ads usually appear on international freelancing sites, meaning you do not have to live in the United States to help push the Tea Party agenda here. Right-wing generally recruits their fake bloggers and paid commenters from outside the US. If you thought the Tea Party social media trolls just had bad English and grammar skills back when they first came on the scene, you were wrong. In order to avoid being caught, the right wing generally recruits their fake bloggers and paid commenters from outside of the US. In 2011, a help wanted posting appeared on Craigslist in Toronto, which is the image that I'm showing you in this video. In an effort to elevate the reading and speaking skills of its online propaganda machine, the right wing made the mistake of trying to recruit new shills just a little too close to home. That help wanted posting got the attention of several independent journalists both in Canada and the US. In Murdoch's World, Folkenflik confirms what many social media users have known for a long time. Many right-wing commenters are using fake profiles and they are getting paid for spewing their filth around the web. Folkenflik reveals that these paid commenters use a wide range of deceptive tactics to hide their true identities, using wireless broadband connections so the comments cannot be traced back to their source is just one of the many tactics employed. The former president of Advantage Consultants, Doug Gottlieb, is a Tea Party right-wing radio host. It's tempting to think Fox is the only source of right-wing internet trolls. That's certainly not the case. However, there are a large number of companies that hire bogus bloggers and paid commenters. Take, for example, Advantage Consultants, a company that went out of business after being exposed as a source of bogus right-wing talking points, which were being spread around the web. The former president of Advantage Consultants, Doug Gottlieb, is a Tea Party right-wing radio host. Gottlieb is also the founder of a group called Axe the Tax that pushes the Tea Party agenda in Florida. In his book, Folkenflik makes it clear that Fox's paid commenters do not just confine themselves to posting on Fox's own blogs or websites. They routinely scan the internet for any news that is deemed in need of, quote, fair and balanced right-wing agenda spreading. They respond to normal people in the comment sections of any number of websites. Let me repeat that. They respond to normal people in the comment sections of any number of websites, often with aggressive and insulting attacks. Gawker reports that its site is one of many that have been targeted by Fox's paid commenters, otherwise known as social media trolls. According to Gawker, Folkenflik said that when he was at Fox, even blogs with minor followings were reviewed to ensure no claim went unchecked, end quote. Wow. The point of these fake commenters is not just to push a specific agenda, it's also to deceive the unsuspecting public about the actual amount of support that exists for their agenda. Paid commenters use vicious attacks against anyone who posts an opposing opinion. Eventually, the attacks have the effect of driving people with opposite views away from the targeted site. This allows them to dominate the web with their fake profiles, while at the same time discouraging real people from participating in the discussion. The right-wing agenda being pushed by these paid commenters hired by Fox and other sources doesn't just include tax breaks for the rich and the myth of corporate personhood. It includes racism, sexism, homophobia, hatred of the poor, and much more. To see some of these comments and views presented by Fox commenters, you can visit this website, and they provide a link there, which is, of course, foxnewscomments.com, and there's /tag/worse/. So that's foxnewscomments.com, which is entirely devoted to highlighting the worst of the worst comments which have been published on Fox's site. End quote. Now, that was written by author Randa Morris. So thank you, Randa, for writing that awesome article. And okay, here's the deal. Click the link below in the description box of this YouTube video. There's a link to my blog. Once you get there, I will link you to addictinginfo.org so you can read this article for yourself and check out all of these different links to different pieces of information that she spoke about in that article. And it was very important that I went through that article and read it to you. I know it was kind of lengthy, well, for a YouTube video, but it was worth the read. It was worth hearing. It was worth the information that you can obtain from it. Now, for the record, I'm going to expose a dirty secret today that's going to piss a whole lot of people off. But that's exactly why I am posting this information. I want to inform everyone about something that I've talked about several times, and I think my message fell on deaf ears so far. So I will have to prove what I'm saying is in fact the truth. Now, I've said this over and over and over again in videos, blogs, and comments on the internet that right-wing Republican Tea Party people are paying people to write racist, threatening, and misleading messages all over the internet. Yeah, and that includes some of your favorite YouTubers, including the videos that they're making, most of which are former military. Some wear sunglasses because they are attempting to at least partially disguise their true identity and possibly to prevent retina scanning. Actually, one of these trolls and clowns stopped showing his face on stopped showing the totality of his face on camera, even though he was wearing sunglasses from the beginning, even though we all have his videos from when he did show his face. But I don't have to say his name. It starts with a P, and he lives in Hawaii. Then there's the clown whose name starts with a D, who has the upside down Obama poster, former military, sunglasses. Then there's the other clown that's always calling Barack Obama gay and calling Michelle a tranny. He wears sunglasses too. He has a bald head, brown skinned guy. And that weirdo clown is former military as well. Now you have the other guys, like the one that talks about hair hats and beasties, who said that Rush Limbaugh was his mentor. His name starts with a T, and everybody knows he's a sucker. And anyway, to make a long story short, they all popped up on YouTube at around the same time, probably around 2012-ish, right? Sounds a little bit shady if you really think about it. Why is that? Well, that's when President Barack Obama was reelected, of course. Right? Starting to put it together now. They use buzzwords like Negro and you Negroes, Democrat, welfare, etc. Thug, savage. They make negative comments about how President Obama is a homosexual, and they blame him for the issues that his cousin George Bush actually created. At times they even imply flat out that Michelle is a tranny, among other comments, which is interesting because these are adult men that are saying these things, and you think they're saying these things for no reason, but they're getting paid to do so. Now, these internet commentators, including the YouTube personalities and commentators in general, tend to be very pro-Republican, anti-Democrat, and spew fictional narratives about how so-called African Americans are to blame for Everything from welfare to the transatlantic slave trade, so-called black on black crime, etc. And they say that so-called black on black crime is worse than any other crime. These cowards pretty much always ignore so-called white on white crime, and their main focus is to make Caucasian people, the men in particular, appear to be superior to everyone else, including themselves. But no matter the topic, the rhetoric always comes back to the fictional narrative that whites are the victims, along with black mascots such as themselves, and the big black scary man is out to get us all. They seem to want attention more than anything, and these people are attention whores to the upteenth degree. Never seen anything like it before. A bunch of grown men who want attention so badly. Now, they don't want to keep brown people together as a unit. They're here to divide and conquer everything, including but not limited to marriages, whole families, institutions, etc. For example, they're always telling their viewers, hey, if you're a so-called black man, go marry a white woman. It'll save you. In other words, playing the race card consistently. What a lot of people who are viewing these people's videos and reading these comments are missing, what they're not understanding, well, specifically the people on YouTube, is that they're using military tactics, including psychological warfare techniques in these comment sections and videos. And these strategies are created to destroy you, or at least distract you from the truth. They act as if speaking about racial issues consistently and creating discussions about non-existent racial issues is their job. And it literally is. But I'm about to get to that. They'll literally have a whole YouTube channel, for example, dedicated to race. They play the race card to their advantage on a daily basis, then claim Jesse Jackson and Al Sharpton do it, so it's okay for me to do it too. They swear up and down that these two men are the so-called leaders of the non-existent quote-unquote black community. And almost all so-called blacks follow Jesse and Al word for word, even though most young so-called black people don't give a crap about Jesse Jackson and Al Sharpton in reality. But facts don't matter. It isn't about facts. It's about cluttering the internet with nonsensical rhetoric. The same garbage you'd hear on Fox on one of their so-called news broadcasts, even though, like Obama said, what they're providing is not real news. They're using distractionary tactics, such as telling you to ignore what they're saying and to go after white supremacy. They'll tell you that you're scared to do it, and then they'll tell you to go after the so-called black woman because she's the enemy, but whatever you do, don't try to compete with them. Those are just distractions. Now, if you speak about white supremacy, they'll shame you for it and claim you're playing the race card and say that you're just a black supremacist. But remember, if you do actually go after white supremacists, what they'll tell you is that you're playing the race card. So if you do what they're telling you to do, everything ends up at a dead end. It doesn't matter whether you do what they tell you to do or you do the opposite. They'll just say something negative about it, and that's supposed to just stop you in your tracks. I mean, their whole routine is one big contradiction, though, and one big lie. Now, why do they do this? They do this because they were hired to control you in the first place. This is just nothing more than a Jedi mind trick. If you actually do as they say, then they control you, which is the ultimate goal. Now, these racist demons are literally, as adults, as adult men, they're literally trolling for dollars. And I tried to explain this fact to people, but I guess I will have to prove it today.